Dear students, now we are focusing on the respiratory system. The respiratory system of man is comprising of the nasal cavity, pharynx, larynx, trachea, bronchioles, lungs, and the chest cavity. The lungs are contained within the chest cavity or the thorax and separated from the abdomen by a sheet of muscles called diaphragm. And the chest has the ribs, and these ribs are interconnected with each other with the help of muscles called intercostal muscles. There are two sets of intercostal muscles: external intercostal muscles, which lies on the top of the internal intercostal muscles. The diaphragm is curved and shaped like a shallow upturned bowl or dome. It is made of muscles and fibrous tissues with thicker muscles around the edge where it is attached to the inside of the chest wall. The airways leading to the lungs from a highly branched structure sometimes are called the bronchial tree. Air enters the mouth or the nose and passes down the windpipe or trachea. This divides into two tubes called bronchi. One is bronchus singular, leading to each lung. The bronchi divide into smaller tubes called bronchioles, leading to the air sacs known as alveoli, and singular is called alveolus. The alveoli are surrounded by dense capillary networks and are the site for gaseous exchange between the air and in the lungs and the blood, which we will discuss in the later slides. The wall of the trachea and the bronchioles contains rings of cartilage, and these cartilaginous rings support the walls of the airways and keep them open during inhalation. The lungs and the inner wall of the thorax are surrounded by two thin layers of elastic tissues called pleural membranes. They form a complete airtight seal around the lungs, which ensures that the lungs inflate and deflate during movements of the chest wall. Between the pleural membrane is a space called pleural cavity filled with a thin layer of pleural fluid. Pleural fluid acts as a lubricant which helps the lungs to not stick to the inside of the chest wall during breathing. At the top of the trachea is a voice box or larynx, which contains the vocal cords. When we speak, air passes over the vocal cords, causing them to vibrate and produce sound. The air that we breathe contains various impurities, including the particles of bacteria and the dirt. The lining of the trachea and the larger airways have specialized cells that help to prevent the entry of these particles and keep the airways clean. Some cells in the lining secrete a sticky fluid called mucus, which traps particles of dust and bacteria. Other cells are covered with tiny hair-like structures called cilia. The cilia beat backward and forward in a coordination fashion, and this action of the cilia pushes the mucus and its trapped impurities upward in the direction of the mouth, and this action prevents the particles from entering the alveoli. So this is how the respiratory system make neat and clean from the dust and different pathogens which we inhale with our air. Now we are going to focus on the breathing mechanism, how the breathing process is done. There are two ways of breathing. One is inhalation and second is exhalation. In inhalation process, the internal intercostal muscles become relaxed. External intercostal muscles become contract. Rib cage moves upwards and outwards. Diaphragm muscles contracts and flattens. Volume of thorax cavity increase, and the pressure in the alveoli decreases, which pushes the airs to move in. So in this way the inhalation is done in our body. We take in the air from surroundings into the lungs. You can see this all steps in this diagram. Now we are moving towards the exhalation. Exhalation In the process of exhalation, internal intercostal muscles contract, external intercostal muscles relaxed, rib cage moves downwards and inwards, diaphragm relaxed, volume of the thorax cavity decreases, pressure in the alveoli increases, and the air moves out. In this way, we've done the process of inhalation and exhalation. Now we are focusing on the exchange of gases. The exchange of gases between the blood and the air which is present in the lungs is done at the alveoli. You can see from this picture that the alveoli is having a very strong network of capillaries around it, and the alveoli are made up of just one cell thick. You can see from this picture as well. The exchange of gas is done. The deoxygenated blood coming from one side around the alveoli, and when it is moving around the alveoli, the carbon dioxide is given out into the alveoli and oxygens come into the blood, and this is how the blood becomes oxygenated and moves towards the heart. There is a comparison between the inhaled and exhaled air. The air which we inhaled having 78% nitrogen, 21% oxygen, 0.04% carbon dioxide. This percentage may vary in different books. It may be written as 0.03%, so don't worry about this. And other particles like dust, pathogens, humidity, so on, water contents means. So inhaled air containing all these things. Now we are focusing the exhaled air. Exhaled air, nitrogen 78%, oxygen 16%. That shows the oxygen is absorbed in the bloodstream. And the carbon dioxide is 4%. That shows the carbon dioxide moves out of the blood into the lungs. And other contents may vary. The temperature, the humidity, and the dust. Dust is not present in the exhaled air because it is purified when the process of inhalation is done. So humidity, water contents may be there, and the temperature is according to our body temperature. So this is the comparison of inhaled and exhaled air. So this is about your respiration chapter. Dear students, I have selected some questions from the page number 182. This is chapter number 8. The point is question number 1, 2, 3 and 5 you can solve on your homework notebooks and send to your respective groups. Thank you very much for being with me. Stay home, stay safe. Allah Hafiz.